Right. Hey, we're live. We're finally live here, AJ.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been
been
quite
a
a
long
night.
night, man. Crazy night.
Quite a night. Quite a UFC pay-per-view. UFC 229 in the books. And here we are. Conor McGregor loses in the fourth round by submission to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib still the UFC lightweight champion. And a lot of stuff went down afterwards. It was it was pretty nuts to see Khabib Nurmagomedov jumping out of the cage and attacking Conor's jiu-jitsu coach Dylan Dennis. It was a wild scene after UFC 229, and you know
It was just
one of
insane.
the reasons why it took us so long to get on the air here after the pay-per-view is because we were watching it over and over again. You know, we were replaying the attack, the post-fight brawl, trying to figure out what happened, and I think we have a pretty good idea of who's at fault, who attacked who. Most of the guys in Khabib's camp, it seemed to be like three guys in Khabib's camp that were in the cage at one time attacking Conor McGregor. There was one guy that was being held back, and then another man who was wearing a black t-shirt jumped in, and then another man wearing a red t-shirt jumped in. The red t-shirt guy attacks from one way, the black t-shirt guy attacks him from the other. It was a complete melee there. And Khabib Nurmagomedov, I think, really kick-started the whole thing by jumping out of the cage and attacking Conor McGregor's guy. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Twitter and Instagram. People are saying that it's Conor's fault and he talked all this smack and this is what happens. But, you know, talk is one thing, but attacking a guy's coach after you beat him, that's another. I think Khabib Nurmagomedov definitely at fault. I don't know what Dylan Dennis said to Khabib to make him jump out there, but man, Khabib going out and attacking that guy after the fight was just crazy. And AJ, I know you're reading the comments, you're not paying attention to what I'm saying. This is just like Ringside Report Radio. You're just completely
You,
off.
you know what? You know why I'm off? I mean, I'm still trying to digest this whole thing that went down. I mean, as we're speaking right now, we saw like some live feeds coming in from the center. I mean, it's like a war zone there. I mean, people are like fighting outside of the ring. I've never seen anything like this in the UFC. You know, we've seen our like skirmishes and things like that, but the behavior and like the team attack and like it was sort of like coordinated like attack on Connor. I mean, it was insane. I mean, regardless of the outcome, my biggest beef wasn't really the jumping out of the cage. My biggest beef in the beginning was the fact that Connor was caught in a neck crank, which is pretty painful. If anybody has ever been in that position, I mean, it's horrible. So when you're tapping to a neck crank, you gotta let go. I mean, you could snap the guy's neck, and it didn't look like Khabib was letting go. I mean, Herb
He
Dean
was
came
not
in.
letting go.
He wasn't letting go, and to me that was scary. I was looking at that. I'm like, what the? I don't want to say the word, but you know what? WTF? Like, you know what's going on? Does he want to get like murder charges on him? And I think it was going that way. I mean, it was insane.
It
Um,
was it was crazy. Khabib not letting go of the neck crank there at the end. Khabib jumping out and attacking people, the whole brawl that ensued, Khabib's team getting into it. There is video and word that some of Khabib's team members that were involved in that brawl have been arrested already by Las Vegas police.
and deservingly so. I
It's
mean, that
just
was insane.
it's a real stain on a crazy night for MMA, whether you wanted Conor to win or you wanted Khabib to win. You know, you can't go home happy after seeing this. You may have been entertained. This is drama. It's excitement, but it doesn't make the sport look very good. It doesn't make Khabib look very good at all. People were saying he should be stripped of the title.
So
Should he be stripped of the title? I mean, we were talking
I think so.
when this was all going on. We weren't sure what the official result was going to be. Uh, Khabib gets the submission. The whole brawl happens. Connor's in there, and there's security around him. Eventually, they decide to get Connor out. Connor leaves the octagon. Khabib is still there. He wants to raise his hand. He wants Bruce Buffer to be there and do the announcement. He wants the belt to be wrapped around his waist. Settle down with it. I'll get to the comments in a second. You don't have to check everyone. They're here, AJ?
Yeah.
All right? I got
I'm just
them.
still disappointed.
It's okay. AJ's like really distracted, and you're just...
I'm disappointed.
So Khabib, you heard Dana White say, no, I got to get you out of here because if I put the belt around your waist, the people are going to go nuts, and we don't want a riot on our hands. So Khabib leaves the octagon, and then Bruce Buffer announces that Khabib has won by 4th round submission. But we thought he might have lost by disqualification because you do that type of thing after a fight. Do you deserve to win?
Oh, man. Yeah, he deserves the win because he got the tap out. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, this is a professional sport. If it's like cage fighting back in like the gladiator days or whatever you want to call it, I don't care. I mean, I understand somebody's telling me to hang in there. You know what? This is a professional sport. It didn't take 25 years to get to where it is, to be like sort of like this gang attitude that came out of the Khabib's camp. And you know what? It just tarnishes the image as a champ. I believe that for sure they didn't give him the belt tonight. He is the champ per se for the next 24 hours. But for sure, there's going to be 3 arrests that we already know. And I believe by tomorrow evening, the belt will be stripped from Khabib. First of all, because of his actions.
By tomorrow evening.
I say by tomorrow evening. He's
bold move there.
Yeah, by tomorrow evening, his belt will be stripped. And the only good thing about this whole thing is that, you know, eventually Conor may fight Khabib again. And if that does happen, for sure the pay-per-views are going to be like through the roof. Anything is going to happen. But I'm pretty sure the fight will happen again. And it's not like that Conor didn't fight well. Conor fought well. He might have had a little bit of ring rust, but he fought okay considering knowing that this is what was going to go down in the first round.
He did okay. He fought as well as he could, but he was outmatched by Khabib Nurmagomedov tonight. There's absolutely no doubt that Conor was outmatched tonight. Khabib won the fight. Conor had one round. The judges, if you look at the scorecards, they scored it the way most people scored it. First round, 10-9 for Khabib. Second round, 10-8 for Khabib. And the third round was 10-9 for Conor, and that was across the board. The fourth round was on its way to being a 10-9, maybe a 10-8 for Khabib before Khabib made Conor tap out. This was a dominant performance from a dominant champion, an undefeated champion. A beautiful performance from Khabib that was unfortunately completely ruined by his actions immediately after the fight. We're getting a ton of comments here on YouTube. We appreciate you all. We're going to read some of your comments. We're going to read as many as we can. AJ, you got to settle down. Like you're so easily distracted. No one called anybody a coward. Let me read the comments. That's why there's less confusion when I handle it. All right, settle down. So Wally out in Ireland says top of the morning to you out there, buddy. Wally. Rob Clue says shame that riot almost took place. It was a hell of a card, and that's really the sentiment I think for many people. Watermelon Kid says, I doubt they'll be allowed back in the USA, but money talks.
Nah, they probably won't be back in the USA after these charges, I can assure you.
It's not good. Wally says it reminds him of the Diaz and Mayhem incident, and yeah, it's a little bit like...
But even crazier. This has gone... I mean, there's still rioting going on right now, which is not cool for the sport. I mean, tomorrow's papers are going to be just filled with what people think MMA is all about, and it's a shame. And this is not the sport.
Well, is it the sport? I mean, Wally's saying Dana White showing the bus incident. You know, the UFC were showing the bus incident as promo material, and it shows where the sport is these days.
To some
extent. And you
extent.
kind of reap what you sow, is what Wally is saying. Both incidents were a disgrace. I mean, Conor was a disgrace there. Khabib is a disgrace here. It's just a real shame.
It's a total disgrace. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I don't know which. Obviously, this, in my opinion, the bus incident was pretty bad. There's no doubt about it. But tonight's incident on live television is a lot worse.
Yeah, it was a big stage for the sport, and for this to happen at the end of a solid night is really disappointing. And I think that's where we're going to end it off. I think we're going to jump off here. Are we going to jump off, do a short show like this, 10 minutes in and out? What do you think, AJ? Dana White's speaking right now.
You know what? Dana's speaking, and I'm sure he's embarrassed. Look how red he looks. If you're going to be watching the live feed, man, Dana doesn't look good. He looks like he doesn't even know what to say. I mean,
I don't know what to say either now. It's just it's real disappointing. Insane. We don't know all the facts. We don't know who's getting arrested. We don't know what's happening with Khabib. It's
Yeah, I have to stay away from René Lévesque Boulevard. That's for sure. I mean,
Rob wants you to stay away from René Lévesque Boulevard because you were last night dressed as Conor McGregor, jumping around the street, almost getting run over by traffic in preparation for our radio show, Ringside Report Radio, ringsidereport.net.
Exactly. I mean, you know what? It's all in fun, and I guess I'm gonna have to dress up as what? As Khabib next week, maybe. That's what I'll do. And start trashing the studio.
Would you strip Khabib of the title?
Absolutely.
You would?
Absolutely. Not because he won fairly.
No, here's the thing. Here's the problem with stripping Khabib of the title.
He will be stripped.
Khabib is clearly the world champion now more than ever. He just beat Conor McGregor. There is no doubt Khabib is the better mixed martial artist in 2018. He is the best lightweight in the world. He is the true champion. The fact that he just beat Conor McGregor makes it impossible to strip him. No matter what he did, you want to suspend him, whatever, but to strip him or to kick him out of the UFC, like some people are suggesting, I think it's short-sighted right now, and people are saying this based on emotion, because if you really think about it, okay, Khabib, he did some crazy things. It wasn't good what he did. It wasn't good what his team did. If you want to get rid of the guy on Khabib's team that jumped in and attacked Conor, cool, that's one thing. But Khabib is the world champion, and to strip him of that title would be denying reality. And the reality is Khabib is the #1 guy, and he proved that by dominating the great Conor McGregor tonight.
He
dominant performance.
You're right. He dominated
undefeated.
him.
He looked fantastic.
But yet, to be a champ, it's more than just a belt and beating up someone and attaining that belt. There's a whole package to being a champion. A champion is the way you present yourself. And I'll tell you something. If Conor would have done what I saw tonight with Khabib, I would have been the first one saying strip Conor from that belt. I mean, regardless, it could have been Tony Ferguson, the champ. It could have been anybody.
So you strip him. What does that prove?
When you strip this guy from what the actions happened tonight, shows to the rest of the world that you gotta have some class to be a champion. Muhammad Ali was a champion with class. I mean, even Mike Tyson, as crazy as he was in the heydays, he didn't this. Is above anything that I've seen any other fighter do.
Class is relative.
It is, man, but to be a champ, you have to be the whole package. Tonight, it wasn't an example of a champ. It was an example of a thug and a group of teammates that were like nothing more than a gang. They actually went in there and it looked like they planned this attack. The way they went at Conor, man, the three of them jumping in there. I mean, Conor got
AJ.
like.
What are you talking about?
Take a look at the video. Take a look at the video, Dave, and let's be honest.
This wasn't a planned attack by Khabib. It just happened. It just happened the way it happened.
I disagree with you on that.
It was a crazy brawl. This wasn't premeditated.
It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. But
well, of course it's a disgrace. But
he should be stripped, and that's it.
Why?
He has to be stripped. He jumped over the fence. He went to attack Dylan, and you know what? These are not actions of a guy who won. And prior to that,
we have an audience right now. Settle down, AJ. We've got an audience right now on YouTube. Should Khabib be stripped of the title? I'd say no. AJ says yes. Okay?
Or yes.
Should he be stripped? We've got Watermelon Kid checking in. Wally Byrne, our man, says no way. Antoinette agrees with you, but whatever.
Look, you know what? And look, it's the sport has
Wally
changed.
says the sport has changed. You know, crazy things happen. Yeah, he didn't behave like a... Okay, Antoinette's saying he didn't behave like a champion.
True.
I disagree. He behaved like a champion when he made Conor McGregor tap out in the 4th round. He won the fight. He behaved like a champion. To strip him would be denying the reality that Khabib Nurmagomedov is the world's #1 lightweight. It would be silly to do so.
Look, man, like I said, like before, like this whole shenanigan, he like Connor was tapping, and you agreed when you were watching it, Khabib wasn't letting go. That was, in my opinion, that's a serious thing.
Look, suspend Khabib if you want to. Suspend him for 6 months. Suspend him for a year. Whatever.
Look, if
but
Connor did what he did tonight,
okay,
he should be
so
stripped.
you strip him of the title.
That's right.
And then what?
And then
no. And then what? What do you do with the title?
The
You
title
have Connor fight Tony Ferguson for the title. So it'll be 2 guys, and you're like, well, these guys aren't really the champion. There's this guy Khabib who's suspended right now, who's not the champion. What Khabib? Because if you strip him of the title, then somebody else will fight for the title. And then what? Does Khabib not fight? Or does he just fight other people and it's not for the title? Because even if it's not for the UFC belt, if Khabib is fighting other people, it will be recognized as the championship fight because Khabib is the champion. So to strip him of the title is illogical, it's denying of reality, and it's useless.
If you say so, Dave. But in
Yeah,
my
I
opinion,
do say so.
No, in my opinion, he should be stripped, and I'm going to leave it as that. And for sure, if you look at it on a business perspective, there's no doubt that I don't know how many pay-per-views were sold tonight, but I'm sure it's hanging around the 3 million mark. After tonight's shenanigans, which we're going to see for the next 24 hours, it's going to be repeated in every news media around the world. The next fight, if it does happen, which should happen at some point.
The rematch, you mean?
The rematch is going to double the pay-per-views that happened tonight.
Okay,
And it will be, and maybe this is the best thing that can happen in the UFC per se, but I don't agree with what happened.
I don't need to see the rematch because what I saw tonight proved everything that we needed to prove between Khabib and Conor.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. You know, I'm going to tell you why I don't agree with that. Let's take a look at George. Let's take a look at George Lucero.
Wrestling won through. And if you're going to compare this to George St. Pierre and Matt Serra,
exactly.
You're completely out of your mind.
No, I'm not. Not at all.
Yes, you are. It's ridiculous.
Why is
you think that this was as big an upset as Matt Serra beating George St. Pierre? Khabib was the favorite. Are you kidding me? What are you talking about?
He was the favorite for sure.
Yeah,
but you know what? It's not Khabib that brought 3 million pay-per-views. It's Conor. That's the difference. And honestly, we were saying one thing before. If there's going to be another money fight, I like to see George fighting Khabib. That's what I like to see.
You're completely out of your mind. You're out of your mind, all right? Everything you're saying,
some people agree with me.
You know what? There. It's 2:40 in the morning. It's past your bedtime, old man.
It is, actually. We've been like sleep deprived since last night. Now, because of tonight's fight, I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm going to watch all the highlights till tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow night, I'm going to hear Dana White saying, due to the unfortunate incident and blah, 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 we're going to have to strip, Khabib of his title till further notice.
Bet. I lost money on Conor. I want to win this back on Khabib, all right?
You guys are witness. 24 hours.
How much are we betting?
How much you want to bet?
$20.
How about like a meal
in the
at
next
Delalo's?
24 hours, Khabib will not be stripped of the title. Meal at Delalo's.
Meal at Delalo's.
Yeah, fine. Unbelievable. And some people in Khabib's crew did get arrested.
They did get arrested. You're right. This is serious, man. This is a serious thing. And, like what we saw in video, too, people are getting hurt.
So you're saying you would pick Conor in the rematch?
Well,
I'd pick Khabib in the rematch after seeing what we saw tonight.
But let's not forget, the way Conor was defending the takedowns in the first 2 rounds were actually pretty impressive, considering when I saw, Khabib taking down Conor in the first round, I'm like, oh my God, this is not going to go well. But Conor was able to survive with some serious top-mount attacks that kind of impressed me, which were so much more surprising than not. On the stand-up game, yeah, man, it was a nice exchange, but it was a total,
Khabib got some good shots in.
He did get
that
some
we
good
weren't
shots.
expecting he would get on Connor.
But he had to. That's what he needed to do, was throw those haymakers and be able to take that takedown, which he got. But the thing is that I was impressed with Connor's defense. Obviously, it didn't go his way. And I said it from like our show live last night. I said, if anybody gets Connor's back, that's where his Achilles is. He's got a problem.
His Achilles?
Achilles heel. But Achilles.
That's where his Achilles
He
is.
got Achilles on his heel.
Yeah.
But the thing is that as soon as I saw Khabib getting that back, it's done.
You're only saying that because Nate Diaz put a rear naked choke on him.
But that's Connor's problem.
That's not his problem. That's just what has happened twice.
It has, man. But look, shit happens. That's the name of the game. Sometimes you're on the top of the heap. Sometimes you're at the bottom. But regardless of the outcome, it was a decent fight for a guy who's been out for 2 years of the MMA scene, and he did pretty well. And
okay.
you know what?
You know what, AJ? I miss Fred. I think we need Fred. This isn't working.
That's all right, man. You can say what you want. But do you agree with the fact that it was a decent fight? It was exciting. Everybody was on their feet. We were freaking out here. The bottom line is that
it was a fun fight.
It was a fun fight.
It was a good pay-per-view. The Derek Lewis fight was crazy.
And Tony Ferguson fight was awesome.
The Tony
Pettis.
Ferguson fight was really good. Ferguson looking really sharp, beating Pettis. It was a good fight there for Ferguson. Good fight for Derek Lewis, losing to Alexander Volkov for the majority of that thing, coming back in the third round with a knockout. That was insane.
I need some coffee. That's true.
Yeah. AJ's losing steam here, and the Ringside Report universe is well aware
of what.
That you're losing steam.
I'm losing steam. What the heck does that mean?
Wally,
I'm just like upset.
Wally wants to know how the fight looked on the big screen TV.
It looked awesome, Wally. You know what? It was awesome here. But Dave doesn't put the volume too loud. That's the only problem. I have a hard time hearing.
Yeah, because you're very loud. You can't hear yourself. You can't hear anything over your own voice, just like screaming about whatever you're saying.
I was freaking out at the end. I mean, anyways.
Freaking out. Always
man.
freaking out.
I'm always freaking out. But people are still freaking out on all the feeds. I mean...
All the feeds. That's another one of your catchphrases. Hey, Dave, don't you check your feeds? All the feeds. You know what? We're going to shut this feed down. It's late. I want to thank everybody for watching and commenting. It's been fun. It's been a crazy night. We had to jump on. And we're going to be back Friday night for Ringside Report Radio. Shout out to Wally. Shout out to Watermelon Kid, Antoinette, Rob Cluse, everybody checking in. So many people. It's hard to name you all. But everybody checking in, we appreciate it.
But don't forget to mention, next Friday, live, midnight, TSN 690, AM radio, you'll hear everything of what we're going to say tonight, and then figure out what's going to happen the rest of the week.
Are you saying you're going to repeat yourself on Friday?
I'm going to repeat myself
I'm not going to repeat myself.
I'm going to repeat myself.
On Friday, I will give you new information as to what has happened over the past few days. AJ will repeat himself because he will forget what he has said tonight.
Well, that's true.
And, he'll probably accuse me of saying the opposite of everything that I've said tonight. So tune in Friday night for Ringside Report Radio, where AJ talks nonsense and Fred and I try to...
But I'm usually right.
Try to make sense of the nonsense.
But I'm usually right. Except for tonight.
Except most of the time when you're wrong. Thanks, everybody, for checking in. This has been the Ringside Report Radio YouTube UFC 229 post show. What are you doing? Hand gestures? Gang signs?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm giving the Khabib signs.
Khabib signs.